Hello and welcome. My name is Jocelyn and today we are using my project pan items. I am involved in 3 project pans right now: a sample project pan, a big group rolling project pan, and an eyeshadow project pan. I am using a handful of things from each of those projects. There's a few categories where I'm not project panning something from that category, so I'll be using just something else from my collection. But I thought it might be fun, maybe a little bit inspiring for me to utilize and show you how I use some of the items from my project pans this year or currently. I'm gonna be doing my entire face with you. I think that's probably enough of an intro. Let me pin my bangs back. I am also going to be starting with the eyes, so let me zoom you in a bit. So what I'm going to be doing on my eyes is something that I've been doing for quite a while, and also something else I'll note is that I usually use my project pan items during the work week. Usually at least Monday through Thursday, and then Friday through Sunday are my play days where I use other things from my makeup collection. But to get good use out of all of my project pan items, again, I usually use them Monday through Thursday, and I go for relatively basic looks. One of the things that I've been doing on my eyes, which I'll amp up a little bit today since it is a Sunday, but I'll kind of show you the basicness of what I do on my eyes, is I use an eyeshadow from the Disney and Colourpop palette. The shade Juju, this matte pink shade up here, is the one that was chosen for me for my eyeshadow project pan. So I use this all over the crease, and then I also have this eyeshadow in one of my project pans, like my group project pan that I'm trying to use up. This is one of Stila's Shimmer and Glow eyeshadows, and I pop this on top of the lid, and then that's it. Those are the only 2 shades that I use when I do this look during the work week. It's pretty easy, pretty simple and straightforward. I think I am gonna try and amp it up again a little bit today. Maybe that'll just mean some eyeliner. Maybe that means I'll add a little bit of a deeper shade in the outer and inner corner. We'll have to see, but I am going to be doing that. Let me first put on some eye primer, and just in case you're curious, I am using the Milani eyeshadow primer. This is the only eyeshadow primer that I currently own, so it's no use project panning it or anything because it's the only one I own. I really like this. I have no issues with this. There's only ever been one eyeshadow primer that I've ever had an issue with, and it was the Catrice one. So don't ever buy that. No, was it Catrice or was it Essence? I think it was Catrice, and it was horrible. It was, oh my god, it was so bad. But this one is really great. I would definitely purchase this again whenever I run out. And then I am going to go straight into the shade Juju again. Oh, here, let me give you a close-up. It's this shade right here. Technically it's the top row, so I'll flip it around. It's this shade right here. It's just a nice matte pink color. All right, so what I'm gonna do, and what I really like doing, is creating a halo eye with these 2 eyeshadows, and it's really simple. All I do is I buff that matte shade into the outer corner, the crease, and the inner corner, and then pop the shimmer shade right in the middle, and I'll show you how I do it. So I'm gonna start with that matte shade and just a big fluffy blending brush. Maybe I'll zoom you in a tiny bit more. Okay, so we have that on, and then I am going to take a bit of a smaller, denser blending brush, and I'm going to pick that shade up again, and I'm just going to kind of build it a little more in the outer and inner corner, just because that previous brush was a bit fluffier, so it blended it out a little more than I wanted it to, and it's harder for that bigger brush to get these inner corners of mine. Okay, so that is it. That's all that I do for that shade. It's basically just blended all over the eye. Now I have to decide if I want to try and put a deeper kind of pinky color on the eye, or I think I'm just gonna stick with this, and I think I'll add eyeliner. But first we're gonna put this shade down. Again, This is one of the Stila Shimmer and Glow liquid eyeshadows. This is in the shade Kitten. This is in one of my project pans, and I'm so bad at using these, but the ones that I have are getting a little bit older in my collection, which is why I put it into a project pan. Having it in this project pan has forced me to use it, which is great because I found that I really, really like these. They're so much easier to use than maybe you think. If you've never tried them, then maybe you think that they are. And so what I do is I have the little doe foot right here. What I want to do is create a halo eye with this, and it's really so simple if you've never done one before. So I have the one shade all on this side, in the inner corner of my eye, and in the crease, and I just take this and I dot it a bit in the center of the lid, put that down, and then I take my finger and I'm just going to tap it to disperse the product all along the center of my eye. Just like that. And you can add more if you want to. I think that I do want a little bit more, so I'm just gonna tap a little bit more and then blend it out with my finger. And that's it. So I'm gonna do it on the other side. And that's it. Okay, so that is an eye look that I've been opting for a lot during the work week because it's pretty easy. It's just 2 shades on my eyes, and I think that it looks really pretty, especially with the rest of my makeup finished. I usually don't do that during the week, but we're gonna go ahead and put it on now because it's a Sunday, and why not? All right, so I'm gonna have to fix these later after my eyes have calmed down because I did have to use a Q-tip to try and clean them up. Sometimes eyeliner is great. Usually when I'm not filming, but it seems like every time I film myself trying to put on eyeliner or just putting on eyeliner while I'm filming, it turns disastrous. So I'm gonna give my eyes a bit of a break. I've zoomed you out for the rest of the face. We are going to start with something from my sample project pan, and it is an Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer sample packet, obviously. So I'm going to squeeze some out of this. I don't really know how well this works as a primer. There's only currently one primer that I actually really like for my skin, and it is the e.l.f. Putty Primer. This one's fine. I don't think I'd ever purchase a full size of it, but it's fine enough to use up in a project pan. Now we're gonna move on to face, and I am also project panning this right here. This is the Cover FX Power Play Foundation in the shade N20. I've been keeping it upside down because I don't think that there's that much left in here, but there is still something left in here. I could be very close to running out, or I could be very far from running out. I don't know. I'm gonna put some on the back of my hand. I have been favoring using a brush recently, which is pretty crazy. This is a heavier foundation, which usually I much prefer to use a sponge with, but again, I've just really been liking using brushes to apply my foundation, and this is the IT Cosmetics Airbrush Blurring Foundation N101. It is probably one of their most popular brushes and one of the best ones for applying foundation. So we're just gonna use this to pop this on. And this is, like I said, a pretty heavy, yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's a pretty heavy mattifying foundation, so I don't want to go too heavy with it or else it can look pretty cakey. I'm gonna put a little bit more for a little bit more coverage right in this area, and then also to bring it down my neck a little bit. All right, and I do not have a concealer in any project pan right now, so we're just gonna use my Kaja Don't Settle concealer in the shade Sweet Rice, and I'm gonna dab that right here, and then I'm gonna take this Pract concealer blending brush, and we're just gonna blend this. Okay, and usually I set immediately after doing my foundation and concealer. However, I am project panning this lipstick right here. This is the Nars Audacious lipstick in Anita, and I've been using this as a cream blush. So what I do is, as you can see, I do not have that much left of this, but I run it on the back of my hand. And then I take an old blender of sorts. I've been using the Colourpop blender. I don't even wet it. I just take it, I dab it into where I just ran it on the back of my hand, and then I just kind of bounce it onto my cheeks. Just like that. And I think that it works really well. It does stay a very, very long time. I notice that my blushes often wear off really quick throughout the day, but maybe it's cream blushes in general, maybe it's using a lipstick as a blush that has made it last most, if not all, of the day. So that's pretty cool. And using this in this way has helped me get some really good progress on this product. I had a lot of people suggesting me to use it in this way for a very long time, but I was very resistant to do so. But doing it in this way has been so easy, and I use this as a blush like every single day. So no matter what eye look I use, because it's a pretty neutral, I mean, it's like a rosy blush, but that kind of goes with most looks. So yeah, it's not like obscenely striking or anything like that, but there's some days that I would like never wear blush. So just using something pretty natural has been nice. Okay, so we've used all of those. Oh my God, my eyeliner looks so very wonky. I'm afraid to like mess with it some more, but let me try and fix my eyeliner a little bit now that my eyes have had a moment to calm down. All right, I don't know if that made any difference at all, but it's gonna have to do. So let's move. Oh, I need to set the rest of my face. So let me take, I don't have a powder in any of my project pans, but the one I'm using right now is the Ciate London Everyday Vacay powder. This is the coconut setting powder specifically. Let me make sure that nothing has settled into any of my lines. I've been using this nonstop. This is the Flower Beauty, there's no other name on it, but this is a Flower Beauty brush. It's so incredibly soft and works so good under the eyes. You could just use this under the eyes, but I kind of just use it as an all-over powder brush. Okay, face has been set. Let's move on to the under eyes. And under my eyes, I'm gonna do exactly what I did on top of my eyes. So I'm gonna blend in that matte pink shade on the bottom outer and inner corner, and then I'm gonna tap that shimmer shade into the center of the bottom just to make it match, because I like the way that that looks. So starting with Juju. Okay, and then we're gonna take Kitten, and I'm going to dot a little bit right there, and then just blend it. Okay. Oh, actually, I also want to use this Kitten shade in the inner corner, but I think I'm gonna pick up a little bit of it on this. Well, maybe I'll actually dot it on the inner corner first, and then I'm going to take this Sigma domed utility brush and blend it out with this, just because I don't think my finger can get in that crevice as well. So dot a little bit on. Okay, maybe a little too much, but that's okay. All right, okay, so that works. That worked well. So we've got the eyes almost done, sort of. Let's go ahead and take care of eyebrows next, because they're looking very sparse. And first I'm just going to kind of brush them out a little bit, and then I'm not using anything new or exciting. I'm just going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade in Taupe, and I usually do this from about here over, and then I take my ABH Brow Wiz, and then I kind of fill in the front half of my brow. Am I in focus? I never know. So let me just take care of this real fast. Alright, so next we're going to move on to bronzer, and I am going to use something I pulled in for my Shop My Stash this month, and it is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit. This is the Surreal Light from a couple of holidays ago, and there is a bronzer shade in here, this one right here, so I'm just going to use my Essence brush. This is the Essence bronzing brush. It's a little bigger than I'd like it to be for this tiny pan in here, but we make it work. One of my favorite things is using something super high end with something super low end or super drugstore. Okay, now that that's done, we are going to move on to highlight. And the highlight that I pulled in for this month is the Natasha Denona Super Glow highlight. So I'm just gonna use this around my face. And I'm also going to take this little Colourpop Super Shock Shadow in the shade Kush. This is in a project pan of mine. And I'm going to take a little tiny sponge tip applicator, take a little bit of that, and then also pop that in the inner corner just to add a little bit more brightness, a different kind of level of brightness, because I feel like there's a lot of gleaming that's happening right there, but it's a lot more pink toned. I want a little more iciness. Okay, so now I just need mascara and lipstick. So I am just gonna go in with this Urban Decay Perversion little deluxe size sample. I've been using this for quite a while. I do really like this, but it's still holding strong. I feel like it's gotta be running out here pretty soon though. And finally, we are going to use the Urban Decay lipstick on my lips. This is usually what I use during the work week because it's so easy. It's so very neutral that it's a nice one to use in the morning on my lips. Alright, and there you have the finished look with all of the project pan slash Shop My Stash items that we used today. This is a pretty go-to look for me right now because it allows me to use all of my Shop My Stash items. I have been working a little bit slower on the Cover FX foundation because it's a little heavier than I like to use during the work week, but I have been trying to use it as best that I can. I'm so close to using it up. I'm hoping that this is done pretty soon. It does look really good on the skin, I think, but I've definitely moved away from the heavier, more full coverage, more matte foundation and more towards the dewy, naturaler kind of foundations. But everything else is pretty spot on with what I have been doing the last month or so. Yeah, and maybe it'll give you some inspiration to try out a simple halo eye or pull for your project pan items, or maybe even start a project pan of your own. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe for more content from me, don't forget to do so before you go. All of those buttons are down below, and I think that is everything I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.